Welcome back, students. So good to be with you again. This is our final part of the Van Gogh bedroom at Arles. Basically, what we're doing here is trying to capture our forms in space. And space is one of the hardest things to work with in art. And so in fourth grade, I feel like we're ready for it. The idea of bigger, getting smaller in a room, bigger, getting smaller in a room is huge. A lot of you had already moved forward and colored this in, which is fine. And, in class, we're doing it differently because we're taking it step by step and trying to layer the learning in order to complete an assignment. So if you still have your artwork, you can continue to work on it. If you don't, you can practice coloring on your own. But these are the big ideas that I want you to gather today. So today, now that our drawing is done, we have space and form. I want you to add color to it. And color is the second, I think, hardest thing in art. Color is incredibly complicated. And so I have some really simple tools to color with today. I've got my colored pencils out here to work with. So I'm going to choose out the colors that I want. And Mrs. Samala actually doesn't have very many colors in the classroom, which doesn't have to be a big deal. We can make these colors. So the idea that I wanted you to do in this room is, first of all, think about line direction. So that's how we are actually putting down color. So I can actually destroy my space in my room by coloring using this kind of line direction, kind of like coloring in my shapes all over the place. Not necessarily a scribble, but almost like a scribble, coloring in shapes. It just absolutely kills space, so we don't want that to happen. If we color kind of in the wrong direction when we're coloring using space, it will destroy your space. So that doesn't always apply in art. I will often use this fun scribble technique to create like hair or something like that if I want something to look a little bit more random. So there's places and times for it, but in here it's more complicated. So that's why I wanted you to hold off on the coloring aspect of it. So line direction is partly what we're going to talk about. Flat, coloring in flat is another thing we're going to talk about. So flat looks like whether you color in light or whether you color in hard, that you completely color in the shape, because a lot of students have a shape and they're like, yep, it's brown, I'm done, and that doesn't look like we put any effort into it, and it doesn't look like a complete thought. This feels like a complete thought. I've colored in the shape all the way in either style, and flat, light, medium, dark, it all works. But it's consistent. So consistency is kind of that thoughtfulness that we're looking for in art. Layering is so fun. So I love layering. Like I said, I have boring colors here. They're really all just the basic rainbow colors, which, rainbow's great, but honestly, I only have a few colors. All of our artwork is going to look the same if we only use these colors. So the idea here is if you want to make your own color with colored pencil, you put your colors on top of each other, and suddenly you have a brand new color that you didn't have when you got your colored pencils. And then shading is basically thinking about the idea of pressing dark around something. Let me use a darker colored pencil here. Dark around something and then coloring in something light. A lot of students are not yet ready for shading in fourth grade, but some students are, so I throw it in there always. Shading is when you press dark and getting lighter and lighter and lighter, and then you have a smooth blend of colors. Shading doesn't look like a stripe, so some students start to learn shading by kind of having this stripey look, and that's totally fine. That's a journey, and then eventually you'll get here when you're in middle school if you don't have it yet. So no need to worry about that, but this is a good time to practice pressing hard and pressing light. So let me just show you a quick idea. If this is my door and I want my door to be wooden, I do have a couple of browns, and so I'm going to create my wood texture on my door. I'm not going to color this whole thing in. For my demonstration, I'm just going to show you some textures. So I purposely leave it like that, which is not something I showed you before. Now I'm going to color in, layering another color on it, so I have a lighter brown. A lot of packs have lighter or darker brown. I'm watching my line direction, so it kind of looks like a wood green. I'm going to throw down a little bit of yellow. It's going to make my wood glow a little bit. I sometimes add a little bit of red or orange to it, and suddenly I have something, I'll add a little bit more darker brown in here, that looks like a wood grain door. That's really interesting and exciting for viewers to look at, and that's what I'm loving right now. So any kind of layering is cool. My rug, let's say I want my rug to feel like it's sort of, I'll just do one stripe on here. I'm going to do dark. I'll press down with my colored pencil a little bit dark, kind of entering into that idea of shading. And then I'm going to add in some light in the middle, so I'm playing with the pressure of my colored pencil. Now I'm doing shading and layering together, which adds another layer of excitement to my artwork. So you don't always use these tricks and tools that I'm showing you, but it's good to practice so that when you're trying to achieve something on your own, you go, oh, I remember Mrs. Selma told me how to do this. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for today. So on this one, I'm not going to layer. I'm actually going to show the tassel colors off to the side. Way more interesting. Here's the rule for line direction then. Anytime you're coloring on the floor, I'm going to have you go back and forth, side to side. So once you start going diagonal, or once you start going using your colored pencil up and down on the floor, that's when you kill space. So until you're older in middle school, when we talk more about line direction and we have more time together, for right now, side to side on the floor, side to side on the ceiling, up and down on all your walls. That will engage space, that will continue to show that you understand space. When you're working on your bed, on the top, you want to go side to side just like your lines are. Your pencil moves up and down on this side. On this side, you could actually go either way. I often go side to side. So that's kind of a trick to the rule. On the dresser, I would move side to side, and I would move side to side simply because the dresser and the bed are on the floor. And then on this, because it's mostly on this wall, I would actually go up and down, up and down, up and down. So that's your line direction, how your pencil moves, which is really important. In class right now, because we have a limited amount of time, and I'm sure you do too at home, all we're focusing on is coloring in the objects. The doors, the dresser, the bed, the rugs. We are leaving the walls and the ceiling white. Some students are coloring in their floors, going side to side. If you have more time at home, you can certainly practice this line direction if you want to, going up and down on the walls and side to side if you wanted to. And I also realize it's time consuming. So do what you can do, but I want you to practice these colored pencil skills because you're at that stage in 4th grade when you can really understand it and learn some of those techniques. I would love to see your artwork when it's done. I understand some people have already turned it in with color on it. You could always layer more colors on that from what you've already done. Or if you just do what you can do, you can practice on a sloppy copy piece of paper playing with that line direction and show that to me as well. I'm really open to just how you experiment with your tools and how you're progressing and showing me your artwork. So anytime you can share, it's great with me, friends. Do what you can, and thanks for watching. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.